Knows Best.
Hi, friends, and welcome back to Brenna Knows Best. I'm your host, Brenna Berg. Hi, how are you guys? Happy Friday! But more importantly, you guys, it's my birthday! It's literally my birthday today, May 9th, 1997. I'm 28 years old. What the fuck? What the actual fuck? And honestly, I haven't thought that much about my birthday until last night. I sit down and I start a notes app for this episode, and I always like put in things that I can remember from the last week and things that are coming up. And I was like, oh my gosh, the sushi bar is on Friday, but the reason we're going to the sushi bar is because it's my birthday. I'm so excited. Holy shit, what the fuck? 28 years old. I'm not a birthday person, honestly, and I think from childhood, either you were raised like a big birthday person or you weren't, and then you get into adulthood and you kind of carry that with you, which I'm sure some people that didn't really have birthdays growing up, not that you didn't have a birthday, but you know what I mean, then go on to like want a birthday month. And actually this morning, it's obviously the day before, it's Thursday, May 8th. Our coffee machine at the apartment is not working, and we actually just ran out of Nespresso pods because I haven't bought Nespresso pods in so long because I just get coffee from downstairs. Well, on my walk, I went on one walk before Carter got out of bed. And the second that I got back home, he was coming downstairs to go to the gym. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like, wait, let me just go on another walk. I was coming back early to kind of like help him get started for the day, but he wasn't going into work until a little later. And by a little later, I mean like 8:30, like right on time, which usually he's early. But anyways, on that little walk, I was like, wait, let me treat myself to a coffee. It's my birthday week. I'm not really a birthday week person. But anywho, wait, this episode, you guys, I need to get through a ton of write-ins. And I want to do that today because honestly, not a lot happened. I'm going to start with a few. We're going to then get into like last week, this coming week. And then we're also going to finish with questions as well, or write-ins. But I want to make sure I get to some of them at least in the beginning because I get to the end and I'm so fucking tired. But I think I only put 2 or 3 and then we'll catch up about the week. Okay, I'll make these really quick too. Hi, Brenna. I've been following since the beginning on TikTok, and now I look forward to every Monday and Friday for the podcast. I've even got my boyfriend listening to Monday's episode so he can hear the crazy Reddit stories. He uses Reddit for gaming, world event news, random fun facts, really anything to scroll through while he gets through the workday. Sorry, I'm illiterate. I love hearing your advice, and you actually helped me a lot when I was getting out of a not so great situationship right before I met my boyfriend. We've been together 2 years this past March, and it's so much better than relationships in my past, and I have to thank you for helping me see that I deserve better. You're fucking welcome. I love that for you. Anyway, let me stop yapping and get on with my question. I know this isn't the type of question you typically get, so if you don't include it, that's totally fine, just wanting to get your opinion. So, my best friend of almost 20 years and I have talked about becoming content creators, or at least giving it our best shot, lol, for a couple years now, but we were never really ready to go for it. We've been talking more about it lately, and I think we're going to give it a try finally. Y'all, I like put these in my notes app, that way I didn't have to pull up the Google form, but I don't know why I have a hard time reading out of my notes app instead of like on an online form, but anywho, I just want to say I'm sorry. We've been talking more about it lately, and I think we're going to give it a try finally. Do you have any tips for people starting out? We've done a bunch of research on it, but I'd love to hear your thoughts since you've been someone I regularly watch and seek advice from. To give some background, we've been best friends since 7th grade, and I just turned 30 in January, and she turns 30 in June. We have kids the same ages, and we take trips together, all the fun things. We would love to just make content around our friendship, parenting, life. Thank you so much for any suggestions you have. Can't wait for the next week's episodes. How do people not end these with these being awkward? Okay, y'all, what the fuck? I didn't read. If you think for 1 second that the people writing in are dumb, it's not them, it's me. Anywho, for anybody wanting to start content creation, everybody says this, just start. Literally just start. Do a trending audio, do talking videos, just post. Who the fuck cares? Y'all, when I started it, I don't think I've really talked about this. I was like starting it with intention. I was like, I want to grow this. I was like, if I don't have 10,000 followers by the end of the year, I'm not doing this, because it also was like, I wanted it to become maybe a business or a side hustle or something. And therefore, when I started, this was like July or August of 2022, I posted posted a bunch of random videos. I posted like, I tried to maybe do like a skincare or like a day in the life. I don't really remember, honestly. Just like a handful. Honestly, I hated making those kinds of videos. But I also made like a dating video, and that was the one that kind of like took off. And at the time, like it got like 30,000 views, which like was a lot. When you first start, you get like 200 views. And then I was like, okay, let me just lean into this. But thankfully, all of the videos I was making had to do with me and my life. I wouldn't suggest trying videos that you don't enjoy, even though I was doing the day in the life. I think the reason those didn't do well is because I wasn't enjoying it. Like, I think it'll work out how it's supposed to. But then the dating stuff took off, and then I just ran with it, and now we're here. And therefore, you just have to post one video a day. But what I will say is, like, I think consistency is more important than anything. You have to start, but then at least do one video a day on whatever platform that is. One, just to like get yourself in check and like make it a habit. But I really do think any social media, I feel like anybody could do social media. You just have to be consistent. Like when I started, I made sure to post 3 videos a day. That was it. Then I got up to like 7 videos a day. Now I can be a little bit more lax. I should be better about it. I should do like 5 videos a day, but just be consistent, because people, like, I think the algorithm blesses you for doing that, but just like make what the fuck ever. Now, if you actually want to get big on TikTok or Instagram or whatever it is, I personally think that you need to speak. Like, I think a reason, even though I don't talk about personal things on TikTok as much, I mean, I sprinkle them in, but like people aren't following my life on TikTok. You guys are here now and more on Instagram. But I think just speaking in general, even if it's about a topic, even if every video you're talking about teeth, okay, you're a fucking dentist, you have all of the teeth facts. I think people being able to see you talk is like so big and just adds a level of personalization, because I see so many people, and it's clear that they blew up in like 2020 when it was like way easier back in the day. I mean, I wasn't even on TikTok at the time, but like I imagine because there was less people, but they literally either only do like trending audios or like just videos, and they don't speak. And I'm like, you can't really know somebody. I feel like you need that humanization, but really just do it. Who the fuck cares? And like have fun doing it. I don't know what it's like to film with somebody because I've never filmed with anybody, but I imagine it'd be so fun for you guys to like make videos together. Yeah, really my biggest tips is just to fucking post, and then post consistently, 1 video a day. Even if like, let's say you don't have a video, or batch produce. Like back in the day when I was nannying, I would sit down on Saturday and I would film like 100 videos, which I'm not editing, so it's super easy, but like that's the thing, you can do that. Like if a day comes around and you don't have a video to post, fucking pull out your thing, do a 15-second, say my hot take of the day is this, push it out, send it into the universe. That to me, I think is better than not posting and waiting to have something. Like it's really not that hard. It's crazy to me. Like I judge other creators hard. Like I see big creators not posting every day, and I'm like, it's so easy to just like pull out your camera and just say something. Like it doesn't even fucking matter, but people get so caught up in the views and stuff. Like for example, my running vlogs get like no views, but I enjoy making them, and I think the people that are there watching them like them, and like that's all that matters. Who gives a fuck? Who really gives? That's my advice. I just recommend you do it. And like here's the thing, if you want to make money from it, there are so many ways on social media to make money. The TikTok shop, Amazon affiliate, Shop My, Like to Know It, views on TikTok. The thing is endless. If you are a professional and you could sell a fucking ebook or like a guide or set up one-on-one calls, like there are so many different avenues for somebody to make money on TikTok. For me personally, I'm trying to build myself as a brand, right? Like I want to be the thing. I want my podcast to be my thing. Whereas like there are people, their thing is Amazon. I've talked to you guys about this before. The Amazon affiliate, all they do is Amazon videos. They're fucking crushing it. Yo, we're talking tens of thousands of dollars. Obviously, when you first started, it wouldn't be like that, but like order shit on Amazon, like whatever your calling is, whatever you want to do. I know people that do the TikTok shop. I've never made a TikTok shop video, but they make so much fucking cash. But like there are these different sort of avenues, like the Amazon girls, like you essentially work for Amazon, but that's fine. Like you can do that. You can try and be like a person in the space. Like I think that I am a person who does relationship and dating, but like I am the brand. You could do TikTok shop. Like there's this girl, Kayla, I think her last name is Caputo. She's a TikTok shop fiend, but she makes so much cash. But like she's not really the brand. It's like the products. But like what the fuck ever, whatever it is you want to do. If you just want to make funny, trending things with text over the screen, do that. Like who cares? Just start. Okay, that's my advice. If you have any more questions, please just message me. Number 2. Okay, here's a dilemma for you. I, female 25, started talking to a guy, male 27, in April of 2024. Okay, so over a year ago, or about a year ago. We went on our first date a couple weeks after talking, and it went well. I really liked him and was really hopeful it would work out. I saw him a couple times after that in April and May, and then after our third time hanging out, he had to keep canceling dates. I didn't see him again in person until I think September or October, because every time we'd make plans, he'd cancel for some reason, usually work related. He owns a company and is always busy. He has openly admitted to being a workaholic, but he never seemed to want to make time to see me. So in January of this year, 2025, we ended things. That's a long fucking time to like not even see somebody, but like kind of be dating. Anywho, he admitted to not being ready for a relationship and said there was some personal stuff he had to work through, which I completely understood and respected. I moved on and went out with a new guy. Unfortunately, that one didn't work out. That's okay. In March, I get a message from him out of the blue, the first guy, saying hey and asking how I'm doing. He let me know he's been taking more time off work for himself and family things and even did some traveling. He's very persistent in complimenting me. I think because he wants me to give him another chance. Do you think I should? He led me on for 9 months thinking it was going somewhere when it didn't, but is now actively showing that he is working on bettering himself and his relationships. Love you, Brenna. Thanks in advance. I mean, give it a shot if you really want to. I feel like it's going to end the same way it did the first time. Like, I think he's probably just bored, craving something. We always go back to people that are familiar. Who am I to say though? Maybe things have changed and he's taking more time off of work. But I always think like this is the thing, when things don't start good, I always just think it kind of muddies things. Like for me personally, if I were in your shoes, I wouldn't want to do that again, because I'd be like, why the first time could you not make the time? Like, I get it. People have things going on, but there are so many people that get into relationships when shit is going fucking crazy in their life and they make it work. And like, I think a man knows when he wants to be in a relationship like right away, and therefore him stringing you along and whatnot, I feel like it's going to end the same way it began. You can give it another shot and maybe it goes well. But for me, I just would hate that. I'd be like, oh, but like that first time we started talking, like I just feel like that would not make me feel good about me, about our relationship, and therefore I just wouldn't do it again. And like, it seems like he clearly, like he's been complimenting me and very persistent. Have you guys hung out? Like, is he asking you, or does he just want a little attention again and he knows that you liked him? I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't do it, but like also I think things always work how they're going to work out, and if you want to give it a shot, give it a shot. I support whatever you decide, but me personally, I wouldn't do it. Hi, Brenna. Happy whatever day it is that you're reading this. I got a little situation for you. I'm looking for some advice. For context, I am 24 female, and the guy in this story is 25. I've gone on 2 dates with this guy. We met on Hinge. He's great, my literal dream guy. However, on our second date, he subtly mentioned his future children. Nothing that serious. It was something along the lines of, I'd love my kids to grow up in a neighborhood similar to mine. Nothing like I'm ready to have kids right now, but just dropped this subtly that he probably wants to have kids one day. I, on the other hand, have never wanted kids. I think part of it is never have been in a relationship where it was serious enough to think about having kids. And I'm also only 24 and just having fun and figuring my life out and loving love having my dog as my only responsibility. Now, I'm definitely going to go on a third date with this guy and hopefully many more. Is it wrong of me to continue this knowing he wants kids and I, in this moment, don't think I do? Is this something I should bring up to him eventually, and at what point? I don't want to come across as I've never have a kid, because who knows, maybe one day I will. But is it almost lying or wrong of me to pursue knowing he definitely does want kids? It seems too early to fully discuss children, but I also don't want to waste his time or get caught up on a guy that it won't ever work out. I feel like I'm being so dramatic, but I'm also scared of leading someone on. Anyways, thank you so much for your advice. Can't wait to hear what you think. I would bring it up. I would literally just bring it up to him, because like he casually mentioned it, and you guys like, oh, I'm a broken fucking record. And I'm like, me and Carter. But me and Carter on our third date talked about all of these things. And I, on that date, said like, I was open to having kids, but at that moment, like I hadn't really wanted kids. And I said that to him. Okay. And that was how I was feeling at the time. And then, we talked more about it. And like Carter does really make me want to have kids. And now that I'm in this like really good, really healthy relationship, I think I totally respect people who don't want kids. But when I do think about my life, like I want a family, I want kids, and I feel like connection and family and friends are like the answer of life. Like there's no reason or rhyme or purpose to life. But anyways, I'm not like, what the fuck are you talking about, you dumb bitch? Anywho, I'm talking so fast because I wanted to get through these, but we'll catch up after this one and then we'll have more at the end. I would just bring it up. Okay, all of that to say, me and Carter talked about kids on the third date. And I think I get it though. You're 24. I mean, I was 25 at the time. I think it's just like, it's easy to casually mention. It doesn't mean or need to mean that you're like ready to marry this guy. I think that we naturally have these conversations with friends. Like it's only serious if you make it serious. And I would just let him know and see what his reaction is to that, because he might put a hard stop to it, which is totally fair on his part. But I think you'll see a lot of his character with having hard conversations. And I get it, because on one hand, if it were a hard no, like it's so funny though. I have a best friend, my best friend Elisa, who was always like anti-kids. She's like, fuck kids, I don't want kids. And we kind of like bonded in that, because I've known her since I was 23 or 22. And I always felt not like fuck kids, but I was like, I don't think I want kids. And now she is with a boyfriend who is very serious, and she like wants them, which I'm not saying that's always going to happen. I actually just saw a TikTok on this the other day, and a girl was saying how like, oh, I didn't want, like people always tell her like, I didn't want kids either until I met my husband, and like almost hinting at the fact that she chose the wrong guy. Like a guy will make you want to have kids. That's not the case. I don't think that. Some women just don't want children. They know the responsibility. They know that they don't want that, and that's fine, and that's totally okay. I feel like you're like me and I was like you, where I really didn't want them. I even had a serious boyfriend at the time, and we had talked about not having kids. And like now looking back, it's like, yeah, Brenda, because you knew that man would have been not a horrible dad, but like he had like mental health issues, and that just like would have been a hot mess express. I realized in that moment that it would be more of like a single mom scenario with like little support. Like I had to emotionally support him. I was like, how the fuck am I gonna have kids? So like we had decided on no kids, like if that was in our future, and I was okay with that. But I was like 23, 24 at that time. But like, here is the thing. Some people could want kids and then get into a relationship and have a very happy and healthy relationship, and then you and your husband decide you don't want kids. Like our minds change all of the time, and I would hate for you to shut down this relationship when like, number one, you don't know for a fact that you don't want kids. It's not like a hard no. You're just 24 and young, and like exactly where I was at that circumstance, because that was me and Carter. Like we went on that third date, and again, we were super intentional, but like I had told him at that point, like, I don't know, I never thought about kids, like not deeply. And he was like, I really do want kids. So then I went home and I was like reevaluating. And as the dates went on, I'm coming around to that idea, which I don't think, like, it's not like Carter convinced me to like have children, but I just think a good and healthy relationship, like you guys having that conversation, whether you guys end up together or don't, it wouldn't hurt to have the conversation. And I think that either A, he's like, that's a hard no and he has like a bad reaction, which shows a lot of his character, or B, he's like, okay, that's fine, and you guys keep exploring. And I think that's really attractive. Like, I understand he really wants kids, and I don't think like he should compromise. But if you're coming from a place of like, could go this way, could go the other, like, I think if he really sees a connection with you, like, that won't deter him, and you may as well have the conversation. Those are my thoughts. Okay, let's catch up, you guys. And then I still have like maybe 8 questions at the end. Okay, last week, what the frick happened? Oh, Carter might get a nose job, you guys. And for whatever reason, he got mad at me when I said, okay, he had an ENT appointment on Friday. Carter has like a big septum issue. Like, he cannot breathe out of his nose. I think it got broke in football, like when he was in high school or college, and it is crooked. Not like I don't ever notice it, but it is crooked. And like when he closes his mouth, actually I got mouth tape, you guys, and he's like, I can't do that because I can't breathe out of my nose. Like, it's that bad. Well, when we went to his doctor's appointment, he also had more blood work because some of his numbers were like not good. And actually, now that I'm mentioning that, I don't know if he's gotten his results. Anywho, at the first doctor's appointment, the one that I attended, he was referred to a bunch of things: a dermatologist, orthopedist, and then an ENT for the nose situation. And therefore, on Friday, he had a doctor's appointment in the morning, and the doctor was like, yeah, you're fucked up. And she's like, you probably 1000% should get surgery. So basically, we're waiting on the people to get back to us on the cost, like with his health insurance, what that would be, because some of it obviously is covered because it's like a necessity. They did say like he has a tiny little bump apparently. They're like, we can fix that, but that's like more cosmetic. Like, when we're in there, you could. So we're going to kind of see what the price is. Regardless, they're going to fix his nose, I think. I don't know when that'll happen. We're still, I think, waiting on the cost of that. But anyways, that's exciting. I said, holy fuck, nose job, my little plastic surgery baby. And then actually, I went down on a deep dive on anesthesia. Is it stesia or thesia? Anesthesia? I'm not really sure. I went down a rabbit hole on that, however you pronounce it, the other day, because you guys, I have never had surgery in my life. I've never been put under. I have never so much as had an IV. I, for the first time, had blood drawn, you guys know, like a year ago. And that shit freaks me out. And that is something that I don't think people talk about plastic surgery, like girls get boob jobs and face, like nose jobs and this and that and the other. They're getting put under. Does that not freak anybody out? Like, that freaks me the fuck out. Oh my gosh. Speaking of, and I actually put this in the notes app, but I'm going to talk about this right now. There is a creator named Sam Doll, S-A-M. Her last name is Doll, D-O-L-L. And she is like funny and whatever. Apparently, she just had a baby. Her video popped up on my feed. It was part 1 of my traumatic birth story. And y'all, I, like we just were talking about, have never thought about having kids until I met Carter. So like, the idea has just become an idea in my head 2 years ago. Like, I literally never thought about it before then. Never dreamt of kids, never dreamt of anything, being a mom, never. Okay, well, now that I think I am going to have, we are going to have children one day, and that day might be more in the near future than we freaking think, because I'm 28 years old today. Anywho, I now like see videos on TikTok and I watch them of women talking about pregnancy, about birth, about all these things. Don't go down the birth rabbit hole. Like, there are so many, I don't know. Anyways, okay. There's this woman who she popped up and she's like a phenomenal storyteller, the Sam lady. She was talking about how she went into like her 36-week birth, or like OBGYN appointment. Okay, you give birth at 40 weeks typically, which nowadays you can be induced, and to be induced means like they put you into labor essentially. And I know to a lot of women this is like common knowledge. I am not kidding when I tell you I don't know what any of this meant before literally like this past year, I would say, when I've really been thinking about like having a child. And honestly, I think ignorance is bliss, and maybe I shouldn't be sharing this because maybe you don't want to know. But basically, this girl goes in, okay, and she wasn't planning to be induced. She was just going in for her 36-week appointment. You know, typically women go into labor at 40 weeks. That's full term, right? And she goes in and the doctor takes her blood pressure, and she has like really high blood pressure, I believe. And she's like super swollen. And the doctor's like, holy fuck, you're not going home. Okay. Or actually, the OBGYN sent her home, but told her to go to triage the next day. What the fuck even is triage? Let me look that up because I do hear people talk about that. TRIAGE definition. Okay. The preliminary assessment of patients or casualties in order to determine the urgency of their need for treatment and the nature of treatment required. Conduct a preliminary assessment of patients in order to determine. Okay. So basically triage, the sorting of, the sorting of and allocation of treatment to patients. Okay, got it. So like to figure out what the fuck is going on. So she had this appointment, and then she said, or the OBGYN told her like, go to triage in the morning so they can figure out like if you need to be induced, what the situation is because you have high blood pressure and like whatever the other things were. Well, she goes to triage in the morning and they're like, holy fuck, you're not going home. You need to stay in the hospital and we're going to induce you. Like we need to get this baby out within the next week or so because she's like swollen and there's like things. Okay. And this girl's like, holy fuck. Okay. Well, she's in the hospital and the baby is not like, she's not going into labor. She's at 36 weeks. So they have to induce her. And when I say induce her, they're like putting her into labor, like making her, you know, like her cervix dilate and so on and so forth. Again, I'm probably not even saying this correctly. And there are a ton of different ways I'm learning. And again, I hate to spread misinformation, but I'm just telling you what I know. There are a ton of different ways to induce a woman or like to make her go into labor. Wait, let me actually find the definition of induce. Induce meaning. Induce. Okay, well that's an influence. Labor meaning. Inducing labor means to start the labor process artificially using medical methods instead of waiting for it to begin naturally. This is done when a healthcare provider believes it's in the best interest of the mother or the baby to deliver sooner, whether for medical reasons or if the pregnancy has reached its due date. Okay, reasons for induction. Is that how you say that? Medical complications, post-term pregnancy, infection, other medical conditions, elective induction. And this is what I'm saying. Some women choose induction for non-medical reasons, such as convenience or to avoid a potentially longer wait. Like nowadays, I think because our healthcare is so good, you can like decide, maybe not everybody, but like to be induced at 39 weeks or whatever, if you want to have your baby on a certain day, or I don't really know. Anywho, well, basically to be induced, okay, is like they put you into labor essentially. And there are like, let's say, I'm not exactly sure, 10 different ways to try and induce a woman. Like there are like these little tips and tricks essentially. Obviously they're like medical practices. Brenna, let's not, again, holy fuck. But like one, you know, there's like a certain medication you can take, or I think they give you a shot. Wait, let me actually, instead of spreading fucking misinformation, methods of inducing labor. Okay, let's go through. Is that what you would call that? Wait, hold up. How is labor induced? And I hope I'm not scaring anybody by telling you this because it was freaky to me, but I feel like you need to know. And here's the thing, like you could have a completely perfect pregnancy and then at the last minute, your baby's not coming out. Like these things can happen. And when I do get pregnant and like get close to the birth, I'm not going to think about all of these things because it can be freaky. But I think like I never knew this. Like I never knew anything about giving birth until just like literally seeing this woman's video, and I'm like, oh my gosh. She's like, I thought it was just going to be like boom, boom, boom. And she's like, I had all of these issues, which it can happen to anybody. And you know how like you get to choose your birth plan? We'll get to choose your birth plan. Again, with pregnancy, so many things can happen and go wrong, and like nothing on your birth plan can happen. Like if there's a complication, if the baby's the wrong way, so on and so forth, like they need to do what they need to do to make sure you're healthy and the baby is healthy. And actually, like so I went on down this rabbit hole, but let me explain this, because one of these is what she's talking about, and I'll continue on. So how is labor induced? Ways that doctors may try to induce labor include ripening the cervix. This means making the cervix soft, thinned out, and ready for delivery. This can be done by giving the mom a hormone called prostaglandin inserted into the vagina or taken by mouth, or, and this is what the girl had happened to her, because she goes in, they're like, we need to get this baby out. And I think there is an order in which they do these things to try and induce labor. Like first they would give you that medication via mouth or vagina, but like sometimes it doesn't work. And like for this girl, like the things that they were trying just like were not working. And then it goes on and goes on and goes on, essentially until you have to have a C-section, because there's nothing else that they can do, which ended up happening to this girl. I'm jumping ahead of the story, and you need to go watch her videos. They're phenomenal. She's a great storyteller. They're really quick, but it's crazy. And I never knew this, but this is what happened to her. This can be done, okay, or by inserting a small tube catheter into the vagina with an inflatable balloon that slowly stretches the cervix open. Okay. That was not a complete sentence, but basically what this girl was saying is like, it's a catheter. It's like this tube. They insert it into your vagina, and at the tip of this thing is like a ball, and they fill it with water, and it's like a balloon. So it blows up. And basically what that's doing is, I think, mimicking the head of the baby, because that's what happens when you go into labor, is what I'm gathering. Like the baby is flipped, its head is pushing down, and that's what gets the cervix to open. So this balloon thing is mimicking that to like tell your body to go into labor, to dilate the cervix. And she was saying that they do this ball thing, and it sits there, and it's a pressure on your vagina. And some people have said that it like hurts, and some people have said that it didn't hurt for them. But basically it sits there until your cervix dilates enough, and then the balloon will fall out. Because let's say the balloon is blown up to 4 centimeters, because you get dilated, I think, to 10, but like 4 is kind of like, okay, like things are rolling, maybe. I don't know. You just start to dilate, obviously. Well, so you sit there and wait until your cervix dilates, and then this balloon like falls out of you. I'm like, what the fuck? Well, this led me down a rabbit hole, because I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I started watching videos. It's called the Foley balloon or the Foley ball, if you want to look it up. But if you guys don't know, there's a woman on TikTok called Jen Hamilton. I think she's just a nurse. I don't mean like just a nurse, but I'm not sure if she's an OGBYN. She might be. See, I'm not sure. But she's like a nurse, I believe, or doctor. Sorry if that's like, I'm, not stolen valor, but like I'm not correctly stating what she is. And she was talking about how she had a patient one time. She's like, okay, everybody's like scared of this like Foley balloon thing, but she said that she had a patient once. Okay, she must be an OGBYN. But this woman was like claiming like she had a birth plan, and she was like, God told her that he didn't want her to do the balloon inducement thing. Okay. She's like, that's a hard no. And like, as a mom, as a woman who's pregnant, you get to have a say. Like, you can say no to something, but just know that like when they need to keep you and the baby safe, like there are only so many options. Like there are only so many ways to induce. And therefore this woman, Jen, was saying that like they had tried everything. So it was like this balloon thing or a C-section, which the woman also didn't want a C-section, but they had tried. Okay, let me also continue on this list. Stripping the membranes. The doctor can separate the amniotic sac, which houses the baby in amniotic fluid, from the wall of the uterus by sweeping a gloved finger between them to separate the thin membranes of the sac from the wall of the uterus. This triggers the body to release prostaglandin, that hormone that we were just talking about, just as it would have been done had labor started on its own. That hormone helps prepare the cervix for delivery and may bring on contractions. They can also break your water. The doctor makes a small hole in the amniotic sac during a vaginal exam using a little plastic hook to break the membranes if the cervix is ready for labor. Amniotomy usually brings on labor in a matter of hours. Stimulating contractions of the uterus. Bitch, speak. If all other methods don't bring on regular contractions, the doctor will give a medicine called Pitocin through an IV line. I'm guessing maybe it's Pitocin. Hello, you dumb bitch. Is the synthetic form of oxytocin, a hormone that the body releases during labor to help the uterus contract. It starts a small dose, which increases until labor is progressing well. While the Pitocin is given, the fetus and uterus are closely monitored. Pitocin, I keep saying it differently, also can be used to speed up labor that's going slowly or has stalled. Okay. And therefore, so those are all the things that they can do to induce you. And basically this Jen girl was saying how like this woman had gone through everything. They had done absolutely everything. Oh, so I think if you aren't dilated, she was saying they try not to. It's not good to break your water, like to physically go in and break your water because you're not contracting. So like now you've broken your water and the baby still cannot come out if your cervix isn't dilated. So then I think they did that, but then ended up having to have a C-section because that's all they could do. And this woman was like, hard no. And she's like, what if we would have just done the balloon thing and it would have worked and she could have just like had a baby, which one way is not right or wrong, but she was just explaining that like, yes, you can have a birth plan, you can say no to things, but just know like that might end up in a worse result or something that you really didn't want. Like this woman really didn't want a C-section, but she said that God told her she can't do the balloon thing and therefore she ended up with a C-section. And it's like, yeah, for me, I'm just gonna be like, do whatever. I just want a healthy and happy baby. Like I trust the doctors. I don't have a preference. Like really, I just want a fat fucking epidural and that's it. Like do whatever you want. Anywho, this woman's story is crazy. So then the balloon thing happened. She was put into labor. She has the shakes. They ended up having to like drug her up. Hot Mess Express. Go watch Sam Dahl on TikTok, her most recent videos. She does one on like that whole process of going into the doctor and the balloon thing. And then one on like the birth itself and then one on post-birth because her baby ended up having to be in the hospital for like 10 days. Anyways, go watch it. Okay, last weekend, you guys, I'm so sorry. I'm like blabbing. We had the townhome tours. Y'all, I'm obsessed. And I could have lived in any of the townhomes we saw. But when I tell you that Carter is picky as fuck, oh my gosh. And he's like not really understanding. Like, I don't know how many times I had to tell him, like, the units we're seeing are gonna be units that are available right now. That's why they're empty. Therefore, we won't be living in these units because ours still aren't even available. Like, the process, and I've explained this, and I know a lot of you know it if you live in a big city or just like live in apartments. We give a 60-day notice, which means units go on the market at 60 days. So therefore, I'm able to see some for July and they're able to hold them, but like they're lived in right now. So the only thing we can do is go and see similar, and maybe some of them have floor plans available that are just like the one that's available for us, but a lot of them aren't. So we go to the first tour, and actually at the first one, we saw 2 different floor plans. We walk into the first one, amazing, great, like no problems. We're like, okay, noted. We go to the second one, and when I tell you this second one is, because they're all townhomes, it's like minimum 5 townhomes in a row. So naturally, the 2 townhomes on the ends, obviously you have inner ones. The outer ones have more windows, and for this specific unit that we saw, it had way more windows and it was bigger because the like corner was able to go out more. Like it just had more space, and Carter was like, I'm obsessed with this one. I love it. We need this one. And I'm like, babe, it's not even on the market. Like, and this one is different from the ones that are currently available because it was the same layout as one that is available for our move date, but the one that is available is an in one. So like it's a little bit smaller. There's only windows on the two sides. I mean, it's still like the island is the same. The bedrooms are like the same layout, but it's like different. He's like, put an offer in. And I'm like, even if we could do that, it's available now. They're not going to hold it until August unless we want to pay 2 rents. But he kept going. I'm like, and I knew he understood. He just like fell in love with it. And the garage was really big. And the garage is the same, I believe, for the other one. So like, that's great. So like, that's our number 1 runner currently. And then we went and saw a third one, which is the one we almost actually applied for without seeing when Carter was gone. And we went in there, and this is the one I posted on my story. If you saw my Instagram story, the wood and the gold hardware, Gorgina. Loved the finishes, but y'all, the layout, unfortunately, so it was the garage, you walk up the stairs, and then that kitchen, it had a mega long kitchen island. But when I tell you, the second floor is the kitchen and the living room. And typically, like, let's say, you know, it's the long way, because obviously it's like a rectangle shape. Typically the kitchen would be on one end of that, and then the living space would be on the other. Well, the kitchen ran on the long wall. Therefore, the living area was like longer than it was wide. Like, our couch would have had to back up. Like, you could almost have 2 tiny living spaces, but not one big one. It just didn't really make sense. Like, the kitchen island was incredibly long because it ran the long way. So you have the kitchen against the wall, you have the island across from it, but then it's like this long skinny space that's like the living room, and there was like no way to like make it more square, or like it just was hard to like picture how we would do that. Like, the couch would be so close to the wall, but we'd have to have like a fucking long couch, or we would kind of like just make 2 little living spaces, if you understand what I'm saying. It just didn't make sense. But then we go upstairs, and I'm pissed because, number 1, the ceilings were so tall. That was amazing. And the master bathroom had a super big shower. It had a handheld shower head, so it had the rainfall, but it also had a handheld, which I love because those always have more pressure in them, or they typically do. But the bedrooms, you guys, were tiny. The bedrooms themselves, like, I don't even know like how we would fit a king bed and our nightstands. Like, it was just too small in the living room. But it was like my favorite finishes, and I thought this was going to be the one we liked, but it was like actually kind of the worst, just how the layout was. So that was really disappointing. But then we tried to drive past some others and just kind of like see the neighborhoods. Well, I reached out on Monday. I said, number 1, my fiance really loved that one unit. Do you guys have that available? Like, what's the situation on that? Just because he begged me to ask them. And of course, it was leased. And then I said, can we see some other ones next Saturday? So actually 10 a.m. this Saturday, we're going to view more. We're going to view some of the other properties, because this week more and more have been coming on the market for July, and we're still going to see more before July or before August. And therefore, I just kind of want to tour them all. So this Saturday, aka tomorrow at 10 a.m., we're going to go tour some more. I'm really excited, and I'm seeing some more units that could definitely work at different properties. Therefore, we'll see. That'll be fun. That was our Saturday of last weekend, and apparently we're going to have a similar Saturday this weekend. Oh, and we have Nanny Dad's birthday. This Saturday is Nanny Dad's birthday. Anywho, last weekend, Sunday, we go to the Byron Nelson, and get this, you guys, Carter bought us 2 general admission tickets because, number 1, we wanted to go and it was something fun to do, and then his mentor was working it, because the Byron Nelson is ran by, well, I don't know who puts it on, but the people that run it is the Dallas Salesmanship Group, which is this exclusive group or charity. Wait, let me just fucking Google it, y'all. I need to stop just like trying to tell you something when I don't even know what I'm talking about. Dallas Salesman Club. Oh my gosh. Okay. Salesmanship Club of Dallas. Our purpose. Founded in 1920, the Salesmanship Club of Dallas unites its more than 600 members to strengthen the mental health of children and families. Throughout the year, members focus their efforts to support Momentous Institute, which is dedicated to innovative mental health services, education, and professional training to strengthen children, families, and communities. Basically, though, you guys, this club is like the wealthiest like CEOs of Dallas. Like, it's a super exclusive. You have to be invited. I think it's a lot of fucking money. But basically, Carter's mentor that I've been telling you about is a part of it. And the Salesmanship Club are the people that run the tournament, the Byron Nelson. So if you go to the Byron Nelson or you know anything about it, you'll see photos of men and they all wear white t-shirts, a red hat, and red pants. So the Salesmanship Club is the guys in the red pants, and these are like CEOs of DFW. Like, they're like the highest earning people in Dallas, and they raise money. Like, Byron Nelson raises so much money for mental health in children and what we were just talking about, this Momentous Institute. And therefore, he was working the tournament. They work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They like help people around. They drive golf carts. They do all sorts of like, they're kind of like the staff of it, you know, but they also are raising money and like, just, it's just such a great time. And so we wanted to go see him, but we also wanted to go and like support. Carter buys us tickets, and then I bought us a parking ticket. Well, we wake up Sunday morning, and there's an email that got put out by the two partners that Carter's actually under, and they're like, hey, everybody, we have 4 Champion Club tickets, which is like the highest, most expensive ticket at the Byron Nelson. It's like its own private section on the 17th hole. They had 4 extra tickets that they were just giving away, so we snatched them up. So we bought these tickets in advance, which again, it all goes to a good cause. It's fine, the parking. But these tickets came with its own exclusive parking lot, and then these 4 Champions Club tickets. And so I reached out to Natalie because her boyfriend loves golf and she loves golf. I'm like, y'all, do you want to come with us? We have 4 tickets. They said, yes, of course. And actually, Ryan had gone the day before. He was there with their mom's company. Their mom's company is like very involved in Dallas and always has like booths and suites at like all of the stuff. But anyways, it was Sunday morning at like 9 a.m. I'm like, okay, we're heading up there. It's in fucking McKinney. Holy shit, which is like a drive, but meet us up there. So Natalie and Ryan came, we hung out, and at this private like Champions Club thing, it was free drinks, free food. They had ice cream sandwiches, everything. So like Natalie and Ryan, they were drinking away, not like that much. Like, they maybe had like 2 drinks, but we got some drinks, we got some water, we got some food, some sandwiches, some ice cream sandwiches, and we sat, and like this area is covered. They're trying to make it similar to like the Waste Management in Scottsdale. Definitely a higher, like not as open to the general public. I think like the Scottsdale Waste Management is fucking crazy and people just go to there to drink. The Byron Nelson is a little bit more sophisticated, but I think they're trying to make it a bigger event. Like, I think they're really trying to get Dallas involved. And so that was fun. And then we walked around. Scotty Scheffler won, but we got to like walk up and down the holes. We went to like the pro shop or whatever. Carter was going to get a shirt, but they didn't have any in his size left because it was Sunday. It was the last day. And then that was our weekend. We actually kind of had a bump in weekend. And this weekend, you guys, we, number one, sushi bar tonight. Then tomorrow we have the tours. Then Saturday night we have Nanny Dad's birthday party. I still don't know if it's at the Mexican or if it's at the Crescent Club Hotel. I'm going to have to text Nanny Mom, which I'm sure I'll hear from her tomorrow. And then I think that's it. It's been storming in Dallas like freaking crazy. Oh, okay. Wait, let's catch up on like other things. Running. Yesterday, I asked ChatGPT to write me a running plan, and it's actually pretty fucking solid. I just sent it to my brother to get his opinion because he's like a professional in this space, but the running is going good, and I asked them for a plan to get me ready if we run this 10K in October, which, y'all, this past week I ran like over 5 miles, and a 10K is 6 miles. So like I could run a 10K right now, but I really want to get faster and get better, and it's 20 weeks away, which is a good amount of time. But that's that. Also, the Byron Nelson really reminded me and Carter that we want to get into golf. And a lot of you messaged me on Instagram when I asked about this, that I should look on Facebook Marketplace for clubs, or just like go into a fucking Dick's Sporting Good or golf store and like have somebody fit us for clubs. Again, y'all know our money situation. We're really trying to just take care of these loans. The second half of the year is going to be better. We have a lofty goal for this quarter. We're breaking it up into quarters, the student loans, and we're trying to pay like $14,000 this quarter, which ends April, May, June, the end of next month. Therefore, no extra money is being spent besides like the sushi bar and some other things that we're doing. But besides that, anywho, once that's done, then we're gonna like ease up a little bit, and then I think we'll have more money, and then we can buy clubs and do the whole thing. But that is something we're seriously looking into. I'm trying to think what else. ACOTAR. I am finally on the 5th book, A Court of Silver Flames. Okay, it took me a while to get into it. Over the weekend, I really didn't read that much. I'm not sure why exactly, but it's starting to get good. This is from Nesta and Cassian's perspective. I'm not going to ruin anything. This isn't any spoilers. I just want all my ACOTAR bitches to know that's the 5th book, and I think it's about to get good. A lot of you have said this is your favorite. It takes a second to get into, but that's where we're at. Let me also think what else I wanted to talk to you guys about. I think that's it. Honestly, you guys, it was a pretty uneventful week. Hopefully I have more for you next week. Obviously, I could yap more if you wanted me to, but I really want to get through these questions. Okay, so I'm going to finish off with some juicy cues. Let's get into them. Hi, Brenna. I'm a 26-year-old girl currently based in Australia, and I'm in one of those emotionally tangled, hard to define connections with a guy that I really need perspective on. Let's call him T. He's thoughtful, calm, a little mysterious, and introverted on the surface, but I know there's more depth under there. We've known each other for a while, and over time I've started to develop feelings for him. Nothing explosive, but more like a slow burn curiosity that keeps getting stronger the more I'm around him. Here's the dilemma. We've been spending time together in these really emotional, intimate ways. I'll set the mood, dim lights, ambient music, deep convos, food, even a bit of THC, legal, prescribed. He'll come over and we'll lie on the couch listening to music. I'll give him a head massage. We'll share food off the same spoon, talk about love languages, trauma, life, all of that. But we have never crossed the line into physical affection. And it's driving me crazy. It's not even about wanting sex. It's about this growing tension and the confusing feeling that I'm giving 60% and he's stuck at 20%. I try to create space for connection without pushing, but he stays passive. He receives everything that I offer, but I don't know if he wants me or just enjoys the comfort of being cared for. He's currently in a long distance relationship with a girl he knows online. And while he doesn't talk about it much, even change his girlfriend wallpaper next day after I asked. I didn't know the girlfriend thing before. I know that's maybe part of what's holding him back, but the emotional intimacy we share honestly feels more real than what I imagine he's getting from that relationship. And part of me wonders if he's afraid of ruining our friendship or if he's just not emotionally available. Wait, are you telling me he has a long distance relationship with a girl? I'm sorry, he's crossing the boundaries in so many ways if that's the case. I feel like I'm constantly holding back my full intensity so I don't scare him away, but it's exhausting. I'm not looking to force anything, but I just want clarity. Is he emotionally unavailable? Is he passively enjoying my affection without ever planning to reciprocate? Or am I missing the subtle signs that he doesn't care, just doesn't, or that he does care and doesn't and just doesn't know how to show it? Any advice on how to move forward would mean the world. Should I pull back? Should I ask him directly? Should I just accept that not everyone can meet me at the depth I offer? Thanks for holding space for messy hearts. Okay, if he has a girlfriend, you need to just cut this off immediately. I don't care if it's long distance. What are we talking about? Why are you guys like even hanging out one-on-one doing all of these crazy things if he has a girlfriend? And why would you think that he wouldn't do that to you? Like, are you wanting a relationship with a man who's currently cheating on his girlfriend? I'm sorry, that's a big no-no. But if he doesn't have a girlfriend, which I don't know why I'm thinking he doesn't, because you said he's currently in a long distance relationship, I still feel like when you are misaligned on things, like whether you feel like they don't reciprocate, whether you feel like you're not sure about your own feelings, whenever there is this feeling of like mismatched energy, I always feel like that's just not meant to be. Like, even if you can't pinpoint it, even like I feel often like you'll be constantly trying and trying. And sometimes the way people even just give love, we don't receive it. Like, I remember dating a guy once and he claimed that he really liked me. And looking back now, I think he really did, but I never felt it. And again, I think that was just a sign from the universe or whatever you want to believe that like it just wasn't meant to be. Like, truthfully in it, I'm like, does he? Like, and I honestly didn't care that much, and is probably why there was mismatched energy. Like, it was a fling to me, but I think looking back and how it ended, he really, really did care and really, really wanted to make it work. And I was like, holy fuck, it just never felt that way. So I feel like anytime there's like a mismatched, it's just not the right time. Just let it loose. I would speak to him. Yeah. If you want to ask again, does he have a girlfriend? Because that's so out of bounds. If so, but yeah, if you want to find like somewhat of closure, which closure is always found within yourself, talk to him. Just be like, hey, I feel like I'm doing this, this, and this. Like, where are you at? What are you feeling? I feel like it's always good to just speak. I know it's scary, but that's what I would do. And then if not, just like cut that off. Like, I don't care how close, I don't care your friends. Like, if there's going to be this weird tension and you clearly kind of like him, like if he's not able to reciprocate, you just keep it moving. Those are my thoughts. Okay, next. I don't know if I'm just ungrateful or if this is actually strange behavior coming from my brother, 33 male. So we don't have the most conventional living situation, but me, 31 female, and my brother live together with my parents because we both care for my mother who has early onset dementia. Anywho, recently my brother has taken on the responsibility of household chores because he is unemployed. I work full time and my father and mother are retired, but the household chores obviously don't include my personal chores such as my room, laundry, dishes, my pet's care, etc. We've been caring for my mom for the last 2 years. A couple months ago, I noticed that my brother was doing a load of my laundry now and again, or feeding my dog and cat. I shared that I was very appreciative, but I've told him that I would prefer to do those things myself because I am very particular, and for bonding reasons, I like to feed my animals. The last few weeks, though, he has taken it upon himself to do all my laundry, feed my cat and dog, and walk my dog as well while I'm at work, come into my room and organize and deep clean the litter box, etc. He comes to me when I get home telling me all he has got done, seemingly wanting praise, saying he hasn't got enough sleep, yet he continues to do the chores I am more than willing to do myself. Also, as an adult woman, it makes me uncomfortable having a grown adult man rummage through my things, and it being my own brother icks me out a bit. My brother is very much an acts of service type of person, and I love that about him, but I feel like it's going a little overboard, and the complaining of being tired and not sleeping enough after doing all my chores makes it feel forced, like he expects something from me. Not only have I not asked him to do those things, I've asked him not to. I know I probably sound like a brat, but it's honestly getting to me, and I don't know how to bring it up to him without him feeling hurt or underappreciated. I would just be upfront. I would just say, hey, dude, like, I just want to do these things yourself or myself. I said yourself as I'm talking to you. Myself, and that's it. Like, please don't go into my room. Please don't, like, I've got it taken care of. Like, why is he unemployed? Go get a job. Like, instead of doing all of this shit at home, just go get a job and make some money and then do your own chores. I would just say, please stop. Like, I don't want you to do that. I like to bond with my animals. I want to take care of them. Like, thank you so much. It's so kind of you. But that's it. Yeah, that's really fucking weird. You're not being a brat at all. I would feel the same way. And I hate just like people going through my stuff in general. I had a girl roommate. I've told you guys that story a million times. She went through my stuff. And ever since, like, I had roommates after that. And I just felt weird. Like, I knew one of them had gone into my room to like use my mirror. It like honestly gave me like anxiety a little bit for a while after. I'm like, oh, I don't like the thought of somebody just like being in my room when I'm not there. And even if you don't have like previous history of that, yeah, I would just ask him, and he needs to respect your boundaries because it is kind of weird. And why is he going into your room? Yeah, I just don't like that. And like doing your laundry, like, I guess it's kind, but like you also told him not to already, you know? Yeah, I would just confront him and say, hey, dude, enough is enough. Okay, next. I'm 21 and I recently ended a year-long long distance accidental situationship with a British 22-year-old guy I met online. It started as a friendship, but he began pursuing me, wanting to call all the time, FaceTiming me for hours, once for 6 hours straight, giving me tons of compliments, and 2 months in, he told me he'd fallen for me based purely on my personality. It was my first deep emotional bond, like a late first love. I was hesitant at first, it felt too fast, but I eventually let my guard down because he kept reassuring me, and honestly, I was lonely. It felt nice to be seen, valued, and comforted. I made it clear early on that I wouldn't start a relationship and make it official before meeting in person. He said it's an if, but Brenna, please, like, I really seem fucking stupid. He said it's not an if, but a when we met, and also we would definitely work out in real life too, since calls felt awesome. Okay, since their calls felt awesome. Even asked what we'd do when he visited multiple times. I believed him so much that I started planning activities in my city and make a plan. But things started not adding up. He'd cancel plans last minute, ghosted me on Christmas night when we were supposed to watch a movie, and once said, it's hard to justify you to my family since we're not official. He would make me wait around, then say, oh, sorry, we can't call or something. Still, I held on. He said the military wasn't working out and he was exploring other options. I really thought we were building something. Then, after a cold stretch in January, I asked what was going on. That's when he hit me with, I don't think this would be fair to either of us. I won't be able to properly love you. You deserve better. This isn't sustainable. I asked why he even started this, and he said because he fell in love with me. He claimed to be 100% transparent, but gave me no real clarity. I was already spiraling, yet I still tried to salvage things, even just as friends, because I hadn't yet realized how much he was disrespecting me and my emotional investment. In February, he told me he'd be gone for 9 months with no outside contact to the world due to military training, and that's why it would be hard to keep things as they are. I tried to make peace with it, but then after he got accepted, he suddenly said, I don't want to rush meeting you. I want to take my time. After all of his promises, there was still a chance his family might travel to my country on vacation. Instead, they went to Dubai. I slowly started detaching. I needed peace. I stopped interacting as much, didn't send reels or photos, and eventually deleted our shared Spotify playlist and the Discord server where we had thousands of screenshots and shared pics. He had made that server like 3 months in, even created a date ideas section, which felt rushed even back then, but he actually never wrote anything in it. So he kind of created the perfect framework for me to believe that he is serious, that he wants me, that this is a plan. Then he bought a new laptop and I got suspicious. I asked why, and he said it was for training. He casually admitted that he got it wrong. They would have internet access at night, but probably wouldn't have time to chat. He had known for weeks, but didn't tell me. That broke me. Even as a friend, why wouldn't you share that kind of news? Just for him to realize this, I was too stunned to speak. I left him on red for a week to survive. I never do this because meanwhile, I was collapsing, family issues, health problems, academic burnout. During that time, he kept sending me memes and reels, but no real check-ins. I haven't even opened the chat. When I came back and opened up, he gave me a few surface level supportive words, said he was worried, lol, then went right back to sending reels. He sent a video flipping me off. It might have been funny if his face had shown it was a joke, but it didn't. When I asked, he said it was just random and he'd sent it to others too. That was the last straw for me. It was the last thing I saw of him, something that was generic and rude, and TBH, I wouldn't have cared if it at least the message was for me, but no, I was just a random person he could send recycled stuff to. I vented to a friend who encouraged me to just cut him off, but because he is clearly playing. I blocked him. It's not like me to do that. If you're going to send me something meaningless while I'm in pieces, why send anything at all? 2 weeks later, I unblocked him, not to reconnect, just to emotionally let go. About a week after that, he messaged, I know a lot's been happening with you and your fam. I hope you and your uni stuff are okay. I don't expect a reply. I know you're busy. It felt shallow. I didn't reply for a few weeks. Then I sent closure because silence wasn't enough for me. Even though your last message wasn't for me, but for your own peace of mind, I know your next chapter is beginning soon. Take care of yourself. He replied, oh, well, it was for you. But anyways, thank you. And I hope your things turn out well, truly. Yes, he spelled truly wrong. There was an E in there. Like, I spent a day crafting what to say and he can't even spell. And the worst part, I still miss him. I haven't felt that level of emotional click or comfort with anyone else before. We just vibed. He told me he was on his best behavior when pursuing me, and I guess over time I saw his worst. I honestly couldn't be friends with who he's about to become. I've grown to resent the military because I associate it with losing him. Still, I thought I mattered. I believed he loved me, at least for a while, for his own sake. He made me his lock screen. He showed me to his friends, told me stories about them. I thought all of that meant something. Maybe he wasn't cruel, just careless, lost, and daydreaming too much. But I was a real human, not a stupid video game or toy. I thought we were in this boat together. I've been spiraling for months. I still don't know if I ever truly mattered to him or if I was just convenient. He got to move forward while I lost focus on my thesis, my health, my entire future felt blurry. I was willing to fight for someone who never showed up for me. Fighting for a hallucination, a fakery. Now I swing between heartbreak and rage. I sabotage my own routines. I've thought about dyeing my hair red, ruining my sleep schedule, anything to destroy the version of me who let this happen. He was a lesson, sure, but I need a final kick. Venting to ChatGPT and friends and overthinking every detail clearly hasn't been enough. This is why I'm turning to you for some real big sister advice, maybe even a reality slap. He mattered to me. He felt soulmate-ish. I've never had that with anyone else, and he just let me go. Like I meant nothing. If he had said, let's talk, when I sent that final message, I probably would have said yes. I would have found a way to keep him in my life. I really believed we could stay in touch even after everything. Maybe it's not his loss at all, since I'm the one bleeding and hurting. I made this mean more than it should. I'm not okay with losing people like this. I'm willing to fight till the end if they are important to me. This fucking loser isn't worth fighting over. He strung you along, led you on. He maybe was serious in the beginning. Whatever happened, he's not the guy for you. And the narrative that you're telling yourself, saying that it felt soulmate-ish, that's all made up. That's all something that you're projecting onto him, right? Not to say that the feelings aren't valid, not to say that the relationship wasn't valid, not to say that you didn't have an emotional connection. I believe that you did, and that is true. But you are the one who built him up, or built him up. Is that what I just said? We put them on a pedestal, and you because you've never had this connection with anybody else before, it feels like once in a lifetime, but it's not. You just deeply cared for him. That attachment was real, but you just have to let go. You have to block. You have to stop thinking about him, delete all the texts, delete all of the photos, and just move on. And unfortunately, that's what you do when you break up with somebody, regardless if you actually dated or actually met or what have you. This is not meant to be. He is not the one. He made that clear. He didn't try and fight for you. This isn't something worth fighting for. And this is what happens a lot of times in situationships or dating stages where he, was hot and heavy in the beginning. I think this happens to a lot of girls, and then they fall off because I think they realize whatever, he's going through a lot. He's going into the military. If he wanted to make it work, he could have made it work, but he wasn't willing to. And that's just that. So he's not the one. We keep it moving. Right? Just do what you can to move on. That means blocking, going no contact, do not speak to him, delete all the messages, don't look at photos, delete the photos if you have to. Just go day by day and keep it moving. You just have to find the closure within yourself, and he is not the one because he wouldn't have treated you like that. And that's it. Okay, next. Girl, this story will blow your mind and anyone else listening. You could probably title this episode, My Boyfriend Lived a Double Life. I can honestly say the last few years I have lived an insane life. I started dating my ex and I thought dating someone in their 40s, I would have a mature, responsible partner. Boy, was I very wrong. The first few months of dating were casual and fun, but after a few months and a miscarriage that I went through alone, he voiced that he didn't want me to see anyone else and we would be exclusive. Silly me, I thought that meant we would both not see other people, but I guess I didn't clarify that with him. Things were great for over a year. We were taking it slow. I had gone through a divorce and had 2 kids. He wanted to meet the kids. We would do little summer weekend vacations with the kids, beach days, etc. He had to work a lot and had a demanding job, which sometimes went traveling and working overtime on the weekends. I never questioned it. I knew it was important to him. Sometimes I would question things but talk myself out of it. There were a lot of red flags. He was very private about things and basically an alcoholic. While we were dating, I went through some pretty heavy stuff. My dad passed away and he was a huge part of my life and my kids' life. My boyfriend wasn't around while I was dealing with all of that because of work. When he found out my dad's funeral was on a Saturday, he was annoyed because Saturdays were the days he hung out with his friends, but he did let me know he changed his plans. Thanks, I guess. LOL. After my dad passed, he started talking more about getting married and wanting to start a family. So we decided it had been over a year that we would start trying for a baby. Now, this is where things get interesting. One morning, he left my house to go to work, but showed back up a couple of hours later in tears because he needed to tell me something. He goes on to tell me that he met someone during the time we were casually dating and had been seeing her too, and she was pregnant. This man-child was dating 2 people and actively attempting to get both of us pregnant. Thank goodness that only a couple months of trying, I did not end up pregnant. He had a whole sob story of how insane she is, and he has tried to end things with her so many times, and she would threaten to end her life and would hold broken glass to her wrist, etc. Sorry, dark. He begged me to forgive him and stay with him, and I forgave him and said he would figure it out. I literally just lost my dad and couldn't imagine losing someone else. He begged the other girlfriend to have an abortion, even went as far as ordering pills online, putting vitamin C into her juice because he did research that it could bring on a miscarriage, that he was going to sign his rights away, which his mom agreed to, and the list goes on, or his mom agreed with. In the end, she decided to keep the baby. His reasoning was because she was desperate to have a kid. He wanted to be involved in his child's life, but wanted to be with me and have the future we planned. I, for some crazy reason, forgave him and decided to stick by and be supportive of him becoming a dad and maintaining a co-parenting relationship with her. What the fuck? This man is off his rocker. From then on, I would catch him in lies daily, and he continued to cheat on me and her throughout the pregnancy. The relationship changed after that. He was drinking any chance he would get, and the fights we would get into would get out of hand. He wasn't able to hide who he was anymore, and he barely worked, just juggling the double life. The fights turned into holes punched in the wall, kitchen cabinet doors pulled off hinges, him throwing glasses, putting his head through windows, etc. So many scary experiences, but I was the girlfriend that would always forgive. He would get DUI, so then I would have to drive him and his bike to work. He drove her to the hospital to have the baby, drunk with no license, and came back home to me. Literally insane. What the fuck was I thinking? He would break into my house in the middle of the night more than once after he was caught in lies to beg for forgiveness. We would break up every other week so he could go play dad of the year to a woman he would constantly talk shit about, and to a daughter he begged to be aborted. I remember crying daily because I couldn't believe that this was my life, but I needed to stick by him. Why? I would wish that he would just finally hit me because then I could leave. But I knew I would just make an excuse and I would end up apologizing. The psychological abuse was so bad and made me feel so weak. My kids could see what was happening. My family and friends all saw me losing myself. I could see that I was losing myself. Eventually, I just started to hate him, and lie after lie, I would hate him even more. In this relationship, my anger was my power. I finally was able to walk away, and the last thing I said to him was he was nothing to me. I lost myself and my voice protecting him, but when I got my voice back, I wanted to tell my story and the abuse I went through and how it broke me. But I have realized, yeah, it was terrible and he was a terrible person, but I came out of that stronger and better. I appreciate all the people that were there for me and they showed up for me, and I will never forget that. I appreciate my children even more because they watched their mother endure an abusive relationship and come out even stronger. And as lost as I was, I showed up for them every day. I realized getting my voice back was never about telling my story of how he hurt me, but how I healed from a terrible experience and now live a life I didn't think was possible. He didn't break me. I got my happy ending with a man that shows up for me and my kids every single day. A man that fixed my insecurities and reassures me daily. It is possible to heal from a narcissistic relationship. As much as I wanted revenge, I got mine. I'm happy and healed and with the love of my life. I could go on and on with the crazy stories that happened during that relationship, but I don't like to waste time on him. I want women to learn from my mistakes. If he gets someone else pregnant, he's probably not the one, babe. That's fucking insane. I just I understand how it happens. And like some of you out there listening, and like I feel this way sometimes because I share things with Carter, obviously, things that girls message me. And like he grew up in this like little Mormon community where everything's so neat and tidy and like so quote unquote looking perfect. Obviously, there are issues, but nothing like this, nothing abusive, alcoholics, like nothing to that extent. And it's so prevalent. And like, so many girls out there are probably like, oh my gosh, like what the fuck? But I think this reality happens for a lot of women, but it's so nice to hear you got out of it. And like, oh my God, can you imagine? What the fuck were you thinking? Like you hated him and you were still with him. Like people, I am online and I'm like, get the fuck away from that man, break up with him. But like, it's not that easy and I understand it. But I do think videos and like slowly but surely like waking women up to be like, holy fuck, what was that, is so important. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna stop that there. I still have 4 stories. We'll save those for next week. I apologize if you have a story that you're waiting on. I just don't want to like bore you guys here. We'll space them out next week. But anywho, that's fucking crazy. I'm so proud of you and I'm so happy you found somebody that loves you and reassures you. And especially when you have kids, like your kids are seeing that. They're seeing how you're being treated. And yes, they saw how strong you were, but like to even see you go through that is just like so sad for you and for them. But we're so proud of you. And to any women out there that are going through something hard, you are stronger than and you will get through it. And like, I think a lot of women realize when they need to get out of a relationship, it still takes time. Like you might be at a place where like, I need to leave, but you just can't in the moment. Whether something's holding you back, you'll get there. Just know that you have to get out because it's literally life and death at that point. Like this guy was trying to get you pregnant. You would have been stuck with him for life as a co-parent to your child, or like men, physically harming. Like it is life or death. And also life's too fucking short to be, number one, even with a man who's just like not the one, not a bad person, but especially something toxic and terrible like that. Fuck no. Okay, you guys, that's this Friday's episode. I hope you guys have the best weekend. Thank you so much for being here. As always, next week we'll have a ton of updates. I'll get my notes up ready. I'll have a ton of stories. We'll catch up. But anywho, I hope you guys have the best weekend. You guys are the best. I'll see you on Monday. And that's all I have. Okay. Bye, guys.